Welcome back to Inner Pop Podcast, our dear subscribers. Welcome back. Yay.
We need to give them a name.
We do.
Just
we need to give them a name. Subscribes. I don't know.
It's very impersonal.
Well, make up a name for yourself.
Call yourself what you want to.
Exactly. We should all be allowed to use whatever name we want. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's kind of
TED Talk. That was good.
That's kind of slightly related.
Not really.
In a roundabout way, okay, because trans people using different names and pronouns, and there's trans person in this show. Ha.
That is
roundabout, but it gets there. Not a great segue.
More like a labyrinth direction to get there, but I like the heart. I like the heart.
But today we're going to talk about an anime called Skip and Loafer. Mm-hmm. Skip and Loafer. A nice little story about a young teenager from the Japanese countryside who dreams of becoming a government official to help out her hometown. And so she gets into high school in Tokyo. Ink, what were your first thoughts? Impressions? Feelings?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. What you see is definitely what you get. First impressions, though, plot, sort of, not for me. But the characters, loved. Love. I thought the characters were fleshed out pretty well, and I like the sort of variety that we got with it.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite parts. It's one of those shows where, like, yes, you do have a main character, but you get so much more of the characters beside the main character. The point where they don't really feel like side characters.
Yeah,
they were very fleshed out. A lot of the emotions and interactions between characters too, I felt like were very like showcasing of normal human nature, especially around that age. Very like realistic. Very realistic. Yeah. What character was your favorite?
I don't know that I really had a favorite. I think probably Yuzuki. Yes. She was my favorite because she was coming into the scene from the start with the goal of not being very, maybe more so particular about who she was interacting with versus who she'd been interacting with, in order to surround herself with the people that she had been craving being around. Like, she'd been trying to live her life all this time, and it was everybody else around her putting these, like, the relationship things and their, other predispositions or whatever on her,
like expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And putting all of their scenarios on her, and she never got a chance to just live her middle school life the way she wanted to. And so she was already in that mindset and was already just, even though she started off trying to, like, set herself apart, just interacting with our main character and then being like, actually, fuck that, I'm going to be me to these people. And I love that.
And especially because, and something I thought that was, like, very realistic that was said in this show is those, like, getting to, like, meet or get, like, true friends is a pretty rare occurrence, in life. And so I was like, yeah, and that's something that you see Yuzuki, like, not take advantage of. It's not really the term of phrase I want to use, but actually get to do is make real friends.
Yeah, she
instead
was the
of.
first to clock it for sure. I
Hmm.
mean, because I don't think Shima clocked it the same way. I think he knew there was something different, but I think like what Mika had said at one point was that maybe she had something that he didn't have, and I think he gravitated towards that initially. I don't quite think he clocked the realness of it, understood it until far later on, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
felt it but didn't quite understand it, and I think Yuzuki clocked it immediately, and that's why she shifted her perspective because it was exactly the
Hmm.
realness she was craving, and I loved that for her. And I liked the slow burn with Shima sort of like knowing but not quite knowing. It was like at
Right.
every turn he was putting another tiny little puzzle piece in as to what exactly it was about her that he
And
liked as a human.
right. Right. And maybe it's a bit preemptive to talk about, but how did you feel about the end then?
Which part exactly?
The part where it
Spoilers
feels
here,
like,
guys.
as per any episode that we do on the
Yes.
show, we are just straight talking about it. So,
Spoilers immediately.
but no, where it's almost set up to where like he could potentially like ask her out on a date or say something along those lines, right? And he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that particular I liked it because I was really hoping throughout the entirety of the show that they did not actually get together, not because I didn't like them together or anything, but because we were both clearly getting ourselves together. Like we both clearly had some stuff to figure out. He had his own baggage just coming from his childhood stuff and clearly still ongoing with his friends and his mother. And she was not actively trying not to become oh gosh, what's her name? Takamine? I don't think I'm pronouncing it
Hmm.
correctly, but not actively trying not to become her because she didn't quite realize it, but she was figuring out her balance in how do I accomplish my goals, but actually what are my goals and actually what are the things that are important to me and all of it. Like, so I wanted them to have this real friendship first and get to a place where we're exploring all of these things together. And so I was really happy, I think, with the ending with that because it sets it up for a season two. And I think that's great too. So if it does turn into a romance, now we have this great foundation. And I like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I felt pretty much exactly the same way. I was like, yeah, no, this is the best possible outcome. This is the best way they could take it. And I
Best
do
way.
like that it sets up for a season two. And I feel like even at the end too, where I can't remember everything verbatim, right?
Yeah.
But they basically set it up like the next like not season of the show, but like season of like the yearly seasonal cycle is coming. So that like that would flow so well into a season two.
Yes. I
It
like
would be
that so
perfect.
much. I like that so much. Because with this kind of thing, I mean, it's so easy for like the slice of life style to not actually feel like it, but this feels like an actual natural progression. So while
Hmm.
the show itself, like as a whole, like with the plot and everything, like might not be so, like again, it's not that I disliked it at all. It's just that like if it was something I saw, would I maybe want to sit down and watch it? Probably not. But having sat and watched it, enjoyed. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so would I watch a second season of it? Yeah, I think the way that they did it all was really good. I mean, it felt like an actual natural progression of everyone's experiences. And
Yeah.
that we developed enough character within each of them as time went on to make it worth watching the whole thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get to the end and
Right.
it's like, okay, I don't feel like we've progressed enough, or it was such sudden progression at the end that it wasn't earned.
Right. Right. It did feel very natural. And it was I think a lot of the character growth and the story progression was it was it because of that natural flow. I feel like for a lot of people, when shows aren't like, there's not a lot of very exciting things going on. You know what I mean? It's hard to sit there and watch.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
It can be. And that's why a lot of like, slice of life, or like a lot of like calm romance for a lot of people is hard to sit through, because
Yeah.
it's just boring. There's nothing exciting happening around these people being people. And if the people don't feel like people, you're not going to want to sit there and watch. And
Right.
that just means that that romance or that slice of life, whatever, and kind of, this is my opinion, I feel like maybe it's just not very well written, or the characters aren't very well written.
No, I agree with that, heavy on the characters for sure, because
Yeah.
this is a slice of life I can say I think did all of those things really well. And that even for me, as somebody who's like not the biggest slice of life person, not because I dislike them, will fully sit and watch them and have a good time, but just because of exactly what you're saying, they're not always written in a way in which they keep you engaged. And if you're going to do a slice of life, I think you have to be really conscientious of how you're portraying characters and how you're writing characters, and keeping track of each of their lines in their lives and how they connect to everybody around them, even the supporting characters. Because if you're not, and you're not doing it in an engaging way that's keeping people not guessing, but you know what I mean, keeping them locked into, okay, what are these emotions? What is like, those are the things that I think make the slice of life good. I mean,
Hmm.
otherwise, what's the point of watching if it feels unrealistic? I could be watching the fantasy or the action, or I could be watching the unrealistic things with all of the other stuff, you know?
Right, right. And
But
one thing I'd like to talk about too is
okay.
Mitsumi's character design. How'd you feel
Okay.
about Mitsumi's character design?
I loved it.
Me too.
Okay, thank God. I was worried for a second. I loved it so much. The moment where she had the top knot made me laugh out loud, because I was like, oh, this is,
It was
I
adorable.
felt that
Like,
it. I
yeah.
had not that bob in high school, but like that my hair was that length and did the crazy things, and like if I felt it in my soul, like sometimes you just throw it up and leave it in what it is. Like, I loved.
I think my favorite part too, right, is that she just looks like a normal kid. She looks like a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And they never tried to, no one ever calls her like ugly, unfashionable. And you know what? That was a little fair at times.
I was gonna
Okay.
say sometimes the unfashionable checked out, because keep in
That's fine.
mind we're in Tokyo, so
Oh,
like
right.
I by Tokyo standards, I yes, sure, I get it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
But I like that, and nobody called her like ugly. There
Mm-hmm.
was never, her looks were never a joke. And it
Nope.
was never like, oh, like Shima-kun's attracted to her, like if she like takes off her glasses or puts on a
Yeah.
wig or puts on
Yeah.
this, whatever.
There
There
was
was
never a
never
makeover.
none of that. Yes.
Yeah.
It was just, this is
Yeah.
what she looks like. And she's just a 13-year-old kid, and there's no issue here.
Well, and more to that, because all of those things aside, which are good things, I loved her because she just looked like goblin most of the time. And I don't mean in terms of like appearance. I'm talking about just her angry aura, that she's
Uh-huh.
not angry at all, but it just comes
No.
off this way because we're like running or panting or we doing these things, like we're trying to catch, and we're like, and it's real because that's exactly
Mhm.
the aura you're giving off in all of those situations. Like, that's
Especially
what I
with
love
kind
about
of,
her.
right. And with a lot of those situations, she was very like focused and in her head
Hmm.
about like, okay, this is the thing I gotta get done. All right, this is what I
Yes.
gotta figure out. This is what I gotta go do. And like,
Hmm.
yeah, no, you're not gonna you're not gonna look like a supermodel
No.
walking down the hallway when you're like,
Running down the street holding your shoes to get to
exactly.
school on time. Like, you're not gonna look good.
No, no. it was another aspect that like yeah, it felt very realistic, and
It was great.
it's a little refreshing. It's a little refreshing.
It
I
was
like
great.
that.
No,
I
the
like
number
that.
of times that Shima was genuinely scared of her because what have I done made my day. Because literally, yes, like that's the maybe it's just me, but like I felt that in my soul. That's the aura I give off in those situations, and I love her for that. Like just the little angry goblin aura without intentionally having any of those feelings. Oh, it's great. Like yeah, it's perfect. And that's
And I
physical appearance aside. That's literally just,
right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But I also like that even given the fact that like part of her character is like, there's like social things that go over her head, right? And it makes, it gives her that like somewhat ditzy quality. But even
Yeah.
with that, I like that they didn't make her like too ditzy. Like she's not the butt of the joke for the show.
No.
For the show, really, there really isn't a butt of the joke.
No, I would argue the only thing that comes close is Kento with
Yeah.
his ladies' man thing. And he was one of. Here's what I will say I did not like. And I can only assume it's just because, we have one season and we're focused on, of course, Mitsumi, so we're not necessarily seeing the boys. I did not like so much that we didn't get to see the same progression in the boys. But of course, it makes full and total sense. I just really wanted to see things like Gento's ladies band stuff. I wanted to see that growth. Yeah, I needed this to get
Please,
together.
you need some growth.
It's grosser. And that's the only thing I didn't really like with the characters
Right.
as a
Because
whole.
if she hung
Because
out with them more, if those
yeah,
were her like direct friends too, then
yes,
we totally would have. And maybe for
and
a season two, we will.
exactly what I was thinking. Yes, if it's set up so that in season 2, now that we have a little bit more overlap between her and Shima, and maybe we can get more overlap between the friends, I would love to see that. I would love to see, because here's the thing. I get that there is a lot of like, oh, you're a girl, you're friends with the girls, you're a boy, you're friends with the boys, but like there's a lot of overlap with friends groups in life. Even if you maybe primarily hung out with girls as the girls or something, there's overlap in real life. So it is fair that you could, for a season 2, bring them all together in all of these ways and explore everybody's growth. Like we don't have to, okay, our main character's a girl, so we just have to have the supporting girls be the development. You know what I mean?
Right. I feel
And
like
it's
that too
a
comes out of
tiny
like,
gripe, but
yeah. It's also like a then you get into like kind of the societal expectation there too in Japan, where like, literally and even in America, we still do
yeah.
it too. Boys and girls get grouped up.
Yep.
The boys go do this, the girls go do this, and that's how it is. And I don't know even how your mom was about it, but I know growing up, my mom told me not, I can't play with the little boys. You can't, you go play with the little girls. You're not allowed to play with the little boys. And it stayed like that until I was at school, and then I just wouldn't tell her. Um, but a very common thing, and also very common in Japanese society too,
Yeah.
where especially in school in particular, they kind of keep it separate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that little
I,
bit of like, yeah,
yeah. And because I fully get it, but also as somebody who my was a little bit different. My mom was not like that, but just because I was kind of the only girl out of several kids and cousins, where the oldest was a girl, but she was she is queer, but she was always more like one of the boys even then, per se. Like she was always doing stuff with them, and so I just got tagged along with everybody. So it was never like a weird thing for us, for
right.
me to have more blending like that.
Yeah.
But I saw from everybody else in school that there was absolutely this divide. And so that for me, adjusting to that in school was a little weird. So it was like a slight opposite mix for me, where I then had to adjust to being like, okay, there's a weird separation happening that I'm not used to.
Right.
And then
And it's like,
navigating that in the South is
yeah.
something.
That's like even with Mitsumi, she played with boys back home. But then you get to school in Tokyo and like, no, there's definitely a divide there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
Definitely a
different. It's
divide.
like walking into a different world.
No, it is for sure. Well, when you're talking about such a rural area where there are just only a handful of kids, it's different because you can't really separate anything at that point, right? Like there's like 8 of us, you just do everything together. Versus now we're in Tokyo and your class is however many people, and then there's however many people in the school, and everything is just
You got options. Whoa.
yeah, it's different. Like, oh, okay, ooh, wow, what's going on? Like, I get it, for sure, for sure. I understand why choices are made and the societal things. But that was my only gripe, and like I said, small gripe. But just because I want more of all of the supporting characters, because they don't feel supporting, per se. You know what I mean? That everybody
Right.
was so, like, even the sort of supporting, like the level below supporting, whatever that is, the lesser supporting ones, like Takamine or what is his name, Norumi, or maybe I don't know, our theater man.
Yeah, Narumi. Narumi.
Yes, yeah, yeah, okay. Even with the two of them being like lower supporting, where we're really only seeing a little bit of them, you're still seeing a lot of them, a lot
Yeah.
of them. But that's because they're people that she interacted with more. So I was like,
Right.
okay, if we could at least get another season where I can see interactions from everybody, that'd be great. I just want to see it. I was really curious about them all.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting characters here. There's a lot of good characters. We have good foundations. And clearly the person that wrote this is good at fleshing out characters. So it'll be nice to
Yep.
see even more characters fleshed out.
Exactly. Yes, exactly that. I was just enjoying the world in which we were in, so I wanted more of the things. But I can't complain about that otherwise. And one thing I did want to talk about though, the only I'm going to call it a makeover scene and it's not really is with and this is why I'm phrasing it this way because it's where they braid Makoto's hair. And they just give it a different braid and they still do things that are her. They don't like make her look unlike herself.
Right.
And they're
They're
like, "Oh,
not
this
trying
is
to
so
change
cute."
her.
Yes, they're not trying to change her. Like it's not a makeover or any of these things in that sense. It's just a let's do something different. This would be cute on you and it would also fit you. Like here are
Right.
just other things to try or do and I love that. Like that's what a friend should be doing. It's not a matter of we must make you look better. It's this would be cute, but it would also suit who you are as you are because we like you as you are.
Right. Right. And I think one of my favorite kind of friend interaction slash friend growth things going on was between Makoto and Yuzuki. Because I
Yes,
liked
my
that you
favorites.
have like you have this girl who's like, well, I don't fit into the conventional beauty standards, right? That's not where I fit. I don't fit as like a girl's like girl. I'm not like a girly girl. That's not where that it look at me. Listen, spend 2 seconds around me. That's not who I am. I will be as contrarian as possible because by default I have already been put in a place where I am perceived as contrarian. And then you have the exact kind of person that she's meant to be contrarian to. And to watch them mesh together, right? And her awkwardness of like, oh, yeah, okay, listen,
Yeah.
no, please go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watching their friendship kind of progress and bloom, and the fact that like after a point, anytime we saw either of them on screen, pretty much every time they were standing next to each
They
other.
were together. I love them so much.
I loved it.
So much. They are without a doubt my favorite friendship pair. And I love that from the start Yuzuki made her outreach and talked and treated her exactly normally. And again, same the way she clocked Mitsumi, clocked Makoto immediately and was, hey, if I make you uncomfortable or someone like me makes you uncomfortable, don't force yourself to interact with me. And it's okay. It wasn't disrespectful. It wasn't even standoffish or anything like that. It was a genuine, like, taking account of your feelings. And hey, I'm sorry. We all tagged along. And I'm sorry if don't make yourself uncomfortable on your day out because of me. And I love that so much because it's, number one, showing you exactly what kind of person Yuzuki is and probably always has been. But because of her circumstances that everybody else forced on her, was never able to be. And extending that, beautiful. Just couldn't get better.
She's exceptionally considerate and exceptionally talented at reading the room. And I'm like, oh, no. Can I meet somebody like you? Because it ain't me, and I need to be taught.
Well, the way she clocks everybody literally immediately, and I have developed the theory that it is precisely because of her prior circumstances and the way everybody else just pushed their standards on her and their expectations
Right.
on her. And so she got exceptionally good at figuring out other people's motives, because you can't read people's minds, but you can read their actions, and you can read between these lines and do these things
Right.
to try and help you get a better picture of them. And she would have had to have gotten really good at that to get herself out of those situations and to keep from getting into more of them. And so the way she also clocked Mika immediately as, hey, she's just using you to get closer to him. She's not like all of these things, and has no problem saying it out loud either. Like, that is, again, proving her consideration for the people around her. It was immediate, not even telling Mitsumi how to feel about it, just, does that not bother you? That's exactly what's happening here. Like, hey, you clearly didn't notice it, but I did.
Yeah. Not even being like, oh, you should like unadd
Yep.
her. You should not be around her, hang out with her. Just like, how, listen, this is what it looks like she's doing, all right? How does that make you feel? Like, I'm just passing on this information. You do with it what you will.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was so good. And I d- it's not that I didn't like Mika's character and I didn't like her growth or any of those things, because I did. Because that's the entire point of her character, right? Is to have that growth. I didn't like her in the way that clearly from the start, the way you're talking about yourself in regards to other people, like talking about Yuzuki, oh, well, she's just naturally this, and you don't have to be a tryhard like me, and all of these things. And I study these fashion magazines for months, and all of these things. It was like, okay, clearly you've put in all of this to change who you are. And so you're well aware of the fact that the person you're presenting yourself as and the thoughts that you're having and your goals and things are not lining up with who you are as a person. And I didn't like that. Not because I didn't like her specifically, but because the fact that things like that happen so often because of a need of feeling like you have to do these things sucks.
Right. And that's why I did like her character. Cuz for a show that the age range that these kids are in and everything, I think a character like her is extremely important to write more in depth, okay? Cuz jealousy is a normal human emotion. And people always, there's like this evil connotation to jealousy. A jealousy itself is not inherently bad. It's normal. It's natural. You're gonna feel it for the rest of your life, from the day you're born to the day you die. What's important is what you do with those feelings, like any feeling that has a more negative connotation to it. And I don't feel like people talk about that enough, especially not when it comes to the teenage years, because I feel like that's some of the time where jealousy is like at its peak. for a lot of people, and especially learning to navigate, you know, socialization. That what you're learning there is going to carry you into adulthood. Learning then kind of what to do with jealousy, I feel like is really important.
I think I didn't like her because I didn't get jealousy from her. That's not how I saw her character as being. I never saw her as jealous or wanting to even be like Mitsumi or Yuzuki even. I always saw her as just a character of really low self-esteem. Cuz if you anytime she's saying these things, for the most part, she's just talking about herself. Like, even when she's talking about Yuzuki, she does nothing but compliment Yuzuki, right? We're not ever talking down about her. It's always just, wow, she makes even, the simple things look astounding. And I am trying hard and doing all these things. And with Mitsumi, it was never even a matter of like, you know, I want to be like her. I am so much better than her. There were a couple comments of like the where the clothes where she's like, "Oh, I almost feel bad for how the two of you make me look." But I never took that as like it was all she was directing these things to thoughts to herself, trying to make her just low self-esteem feel better, trying to find a way to lift herself up. And so I didn't like her character because I wanted that to be more pronounced, that all of these feelings and the way she's acting are coming from this place of just self-doubt, and I think a lot of like confusion in herself and who she is, and like figuring out what is expected of her versus what she wants to be, and all of these things, and finding real relationships is, and it's all coming from a place of inside her. And I wanted that to be more pronounced because I think it could have easily blurred the lines in between just jealousy, which there's nothing wrong with that, because jealousy I think should be talked about a lot more, and having characters like that is important. But it was just like it could have gone either way for her, and I wanted it to go this way. And so I didn't like that, but it wasn't that I didn't like her character or think she shouldn't have been included or anything like that. Like, I wanted a more definitive one way or another what's happening in her head, if that makes sense.
No, I get it.
Because
I get it. I
like this
understand.
was how
Yeah.
I was taking her, but I also it's just my interpretation of her, and I just didn't think that there was enough to be fully like, yes, this is, you know what I mean?
Right, right. Like there could have been more. Like out of the
Yeah.
more fleshed out characters, there could have been more flesh to her.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was exactly what I'm trying to say. That's why I didn't like it, not because I didn't like her specifically and didn't want her included or anything like that. Just because we there's so much here from the other ones. I wanted as much from her, and was sad for me because we also got the most of her internal as compared to like Yuzuki or Makoto, right? Like we spent more time in her head, but it still didn't feel like definitively I knew.
Which I suppose they could also that could also be later plot points if they do a season 2. I don't know if this was a manga. Probably was, and how long it's
It
gone on
was,
for.
yes.
So,
I do know it was, and I don't know if it's how long it's gone on or if it's still ongoing, but I know it was a manga because also the author had based Mitsumi's childhood home on her childhood home, and
oh.
well, it was destroyed in 2024 in an earthquake. And so it made me really sad. I saw it was a manga initially, and I think it was released. I got the dates slightly wrong. So the Japanese one was 2019. And then there's an English one that came out 2021. So it goes on to 2026. Okay, yeah. So it looks like it is still ongoing. Just looking at the covers of these, her design does not ever change, and I love that so very much.
Yes. All right.
I'm
I love that.
so thrilled about that. Yes. And speaking of designs, can we talk about Shima for a second? Because I've never seen a character that embodies a golden retriever more in my
All right.
life.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, literally, I agree with her. Like, she was talking about their fur was the same
Hmm.
color, and I laughed out loud
Yes.
because I was already thinking he looks like a dog
Yes.
before she said it.
I feel like the dog was drawn before Shima was drawn. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
The mangaka looked at that dog and said, "You know, I'm gonna make the main boy now." That was it. That was the design. That was the thought
This is the
process.
inspiration.
Yeah.
I like it. I
No,
agree.
cannot
Well,
convince me I'm wrong.
you cannot know. And I also want to take a second to talk about his design too, just because, yes, he's supposed to be like the most popular kid in the class and like all of this stuff, and like everybody's supposed to love him, and he's very cute and everything, but he's not designed in that like most gorgeous anime boy in the world design. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's
I don't
like
know how to.
cute, messy. You know?
Yes, but it's not like this. Okay, we're in high school. Why do we look like we're 30-year-old models? Like it's
Right.
still fully believable to like where you have even the girl who's actually a model whose name I can't remember right this second.
I cannot remember her name
But
either.
the difference between them, like they were both in the industry, right? So like as the kid he had like the big wide eyes and the like full model face and everything, and then like out of that life he looks different and more like regular, just really cute kid, right? But not like full model, versus her still in the industry doing all the things, does not look like she's the same age as him and does look
Right.
entirely different. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I love those details.
And especially because it's, we're working with like a style here that's like fairly, not like simple, but like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, there's not a lot of like extra detail. There's detail
Yeah.
enough to where all of the characters look completely different, which you do
Yeah.
not always get in manga and anime,
Especially with supportings.
especially with supporting cast. Okay, everyone looks entirely different, entirely distinctive. And so for this mangaka to be able to make him look his age while still looking cute and not do like it, yeah, you can make a high schooler look like a high schooler. I feel like a
Yes.
lot of people try to argue against this. They do.
Like just because he's the one that everybody has a crush on doesn't mean he can't just look like a cute high schooler and everyone loves him because of
Yeah.
his personality and cuteness. Like that's okay. That's
It
fine.
doesn't need to
We're in
have
high
like
school.
rippling abs and like super sharp
Right.
looking eyes. Yeah, we don't need to do
Right.
all that, okay?
We don't need that. It's just not necessary. It's not necessary. But that everybody looks so different is I think a great testament to just representation in the story, because like
Right.
we said, all of the supporting characters, you can tell every last one of them apart, and even though I can't remember everybody's names, that has nothing to do with the character design. That's just
That's just,
me.
it's a lot of characters in a short time span. Listen, that's a
Just
lot of
me.
names, bro.
Right, yeah, I binged
Faces?
this in like a day, and not even a full day. I binged this in like 2 short stunts, really late at night, really early in the morning, so don't blame me. And speaking of character designs, I just also have to bring up how absolutely adorable that Fumi is.
Yes.
We haven't talked about her yet, and I love her dearly.
She's precious. I'm kind of sad that we didn't get to see her like in her little
More?
relationship and everything.
Yes, I know. I
More in
wanted to
general.
see.
I
I
wanted to, yeah,
wanted
I
to
needed
see
to
so much
know.
more.
I'm like, who was lucky enough
Yeah, I know.
to
Who?
date Fumi?
Because
She is
if
precious.
Fumi's got a crush on someone, oh, they are. You know that boy is just as
just
gotta be
wonderful.
amazing because
Gotta
she is
be.
just the light of the world. And so for her to like someone, they have to be just adorable in the same way. They have to match each
Yes.
other's. Just you have to be worthy of my girl.
How
Love
caring
her.
she is. She always knows what's going
I
on with
know.
Misumi. She always knows if something's wrong. She's over there bringing
Hmm.
vegetables and stuff to her family, being all sweet to her little
I know.
siblings. Like she is precious. That's a once in a lifetime kind of friend you get right there.
That is a true friend. I mean, that is
Yes.
just a true friend. I love everything about her so much. And I don't know, the way everyone is so like, yes, everyone is of course supposed to serve a certain purpose because we're following Mitsumi and her life, and so like everybody has to have a different purpose and all the things. But the way none of them feel explicitly like that, you know what I mean? Like they do, like we said earlier, feel like just natural relationships, and that this progression makes sense and this development makes sense. And so Fumi, even though my girl is the same 13-year-old and is clearly serving this purpose of, supportive friend, so Mitsumi doesn't like, she keeps going and all of these things. It never feels like that. It just feels like a natural friendship.
Yes. It just feels like a real, like this is real human interaction I'm watching almost. Like that's what's going on right here.
Not like I've moved away and now me and my friends, my best friends, can never be friends again and we can never talk anymore. I moved away and oh, this is terrible. I'm leaving everything behind. No, they still talk every day, just like best friends would in that situation. Like that distance is not going to matter to them because they are just best friends. And of course, I'm going to support you regardless of where you're not getting rid of me this easily.
Right. And of course, there are some friends that, they do grow distant. But I
Well,
don't
yeah.
feel like it would happen between these two because of how long they've been friends and how close they are.
Yeah,
Which
no,
it's
of
a
course.
listen, it has happened, all right? I won't say it hasn't. Definitely has, all right? Because sometimes you move away and you get caught up and you get really, really insanely busy with whatever you moved away for. And that's totally understandable.
Right.
But,
Because I'm, of course, not talking about in context of real life, just the trope that you see oftentimes
right.
in not even just animes, but just shows in general. I like where we've moved away and it's now like the most dramatic. I can never speak to any of you again. And even if we do, we'll talk for a week and then you'll stop calling me. Like, yes, these things happen, but I'm just like, I see it over and over and over again. And it was just nice to not see it.
Yeah. It's like that gets used as a little like dramatic plot point all the time. Like, oh, yes, more drama
Right.
happening. Okay, we get it. All right. Moving on.
And it would have been so easy to lean into that with with a slice of life, especially where
Right.
like we've said before, there's not so much going on with drama and all the things. It would have been so easy to make that happen here and have it be just this big thing with Mitsumi trying to navigate all that, but it doesn't, and I love that so much.
And I think the lack of like kind of big drama going on is also what made everything feel so natural. Because for a lot of in a lot
Agreed,
of
for sure.
cases, real life won't always be like, you know, dramatic music starts playing, everyone turns to the camera, something else has happened. 5 minutes later, we're doing the same thing, but it's for something else. You know what I mean? While that's entertaining, it is very entertaining. There's a people that reason that like people love reality TV shows and stuff like that, right? But it doesn't feel natural. That's like we know all that stuff going on is fake. Or if it's in more of like a dramatic kind of show, it's like, yeah, okay, that's happening. It tends not to feel very realistic, very natural. But this didn't have it had like drama of sorts, but it felt like just usual miscommunications and misunderstandings between people
Yeah,
that were solved via
life.
communication and like whoa, wow, you can't see,
Yeah.
listen, take notes, people that make other shows, you can't just have the See, that's why they don't have the characters just talk to each other, and I get
It
that, I know
works.
that. But, like, man, it makes me aggravated every time. I'm like, if they just spoke to each other, like, 2 sentences, this whole
Mhm.
thing could be cleared up. But I know that's why they don't.
Communication makes all the
Yeah,
difference. I understand that in some contexts communication would not work for a variety of reasons, but this is
right.
proof that hey, guess what? Communication does work and it's okay. And sometimes communication is enough drama because sometimes communication on its
Yes.
own because look at Mitsumi and Takamine, right? Like
Mhm.
all of that drama of their initial here, let me take you can tag along with me for the day and let me show you how I do all the things, and that alone was stressful enough for me. Like I didn't
And
need all the big drama. My girl's schedule was enough stress for the entire
that was
show,
enough stress.
and that it was completely not solved because of course that never went away, but her development, which I'll get to in just a second because I love her and so I had to bring this up, but
Mhm.
that her communication was the simplest of things with Mitsumi just Mitsumi just, oh wow, look at this, view outside, something that Takamina would have, completely disregarded and seen every day of her life. Like this is where she lives. This is not really a thing for her. It's background noise, right?
Mhm.
And that just somebody else saying whoa and her looking up was enough to be like, wow, I've actually never looked at that. Or I have nightmares about missing the bus. Oh God, now we're missed the bus, and it's look at this sweet cat, or like all of these things, and
Yeah.
that her progression and development as a character was not, oh my God, I have to stop planning everything down to the second and da 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 da. It was, this is still who I am as a person. I still do these schedules, and this is how my brain works, and what I need, but our topic has shifted and it's not I've planned every day down to the moment and I'm only worried about this and this one goal and these things. Now it's this whole detailed set of information just regarding friendships and I need to stop and take time to do this and do that. And that development was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Because you don't,
And
the showing of you don't have to change yourself, but you can
mhm.
adapt and still be the who you are but just have a sort of different mindset slightly, like
Right.
we've just shifted the focus and that's enough. It was a great message.
It was great. And frankly, it was one of those things that I felt a sad blind no, not blindsided, but I wasn't expecting when I started the show because I didn't know that that happened. I didn't know that, that was there, especially with the anxiety surrounding the bus and everything. As
Mm-hmm.
somebody who has been diagnosed with OCD, everything, her whole plot
Mm-hmm.
line felt a little too familiar, is all I'm saying. I was like, you know what?
Sure.
This is an
I
exact
bet it.
journey that I
Yeah.
have already taken. And you know what? It's nice to see
Mm-hmm.
somebody acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying she has OCD, but
No,
and
but
she
all
feels
of
like
but
she's a
that
character,
emotion behind it.
right? It very well reflected. Like if you want any visual representation of what it feels like to have OCD for a lot of people, of course, OCD, like any other disorder, is it shows up and manifests differently in different people. Some ways it affects people more than others in different sorts of varieties, right? But for a lot of people with OCD, myself included, that was pretty spot on to what it feels like sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
to like one specific thing that you go
Yeah.
through. And so I really liked, and I'm not saying it was OCD representation, but it's definitely a character that if you got OCD, you could you could feel represented by.
I mean, just that anxiety alone, I think, is enough that a lot of
Yeah,
people, regardless of other
true.
things,
If
I
you
think
have
can relate
an
to,
anxiety
even if
disorder
you don't have a
or have just
neurodivergent.
felt
Yeah, yeah.
anxiety.
Even if you don't have an
Yeah.
anxiety disorder, even if you've just felt, yeah, exactly. That she's such a great character because all of those feelings for people in these situations, right? Like can feel represented by in some small way. And so I love that's what I love about most of these characters, or not all of
Mhm.
these characters, is that even if maybe we're not saying this character is this exact one thing, but you can still feel that representation. You can still understand
Right.
those emotions, and they're represented well enough that you can apply them to different scenarios like that, right? Like maybe if you have the anxiety disorder, or you had the OCD, or you have whatever, or have nothing, and just your work schedule is just like hers. You know what I mean? That I love that amount of representation. And that, like with Narumi, right? Like his character as well, I loved, because they could have, for example, so easily just kept him as the pushy theater kid who just on and on and on forever asks Shima to be, in the theater, and is just obsessed with all this stuff and only cares about his club and like all the things, right? But he's so respectful about it and considerate of other people's feelings. And it was, okay, I've asked, I've made my attempts, but I am also just concerned with these people that I care about. And like, okay, I'm seeing everybody struggling. I'm going to show you all this really awful video that I made when I was like 5. Like,
I'm gonna embarrass myself to
all of
help you feel
these
better.
things. Yes. Yes. Great. I shall be the sacrificial lamb, and then we're all going to feel much better when this is done. And I am embarrassed, but that's okay. Like all of these things, all of these characters, I just love that it could have been easy to box them into that one thing, you know what I mean? But we chose to, with all of them, make them be multifaceted, and so they never feel like they're just serving one like Hakamine never feels like she's just there to be, oh well, if Mitsumi keeps up doing this is what she's going to turn into, and oh how scary. Like it never feels that way,
Right.
like you can draw parallels, but it never feels like this is like it's that. And it could have, with all of these characters, really easily, if it had been just slightly written differently, it could have been a whole different show, but I'm glad it wasn't. And so, speaking of representation, though, not to backtrack, but I'm going to backtrack real quick. I feel like there's one character we alluded to that we haven't talked about yet.
The actual
And
reason that I even brought up this show to you in the first place was because I saw about now. Not now,
right,
not NOW, but now the character in
not in a
NAO now.
an AO,
um in AO.
now 10.
Which is Mitsumi's aunt, who is trans. And
Yes.
the reason I wanted to watch this show, I didn't know literally, I knew I was flying in blind, knew nothing about this show except for the fact that she existed. And that she was supposedly good trans representation. And I feel like we can officially report, yeah, she's very good trans representation. Again, with
I think so.
her, like every other character, she just felt like a person. She was just a natural person character that was here. And I really like that they didn't make her existence be, because this is always how it is, especially, I don't want to say especially with anime, but kind of especially with anime, where a trans woman is the butt of the joke. Like, this is the laughing stock kind of weird character that everyone points to and goes, oh, ha, ha. Even though a lot of fans will like really like that character and have a lot of adoration for that character. Well, not like admiration, but um,
This is what we've got, so
like this is
this is
my
better than
puppy. Like, look
nothing.
at my cute puppy kind of feeling towards that character. You know what I mean? When that character is meant to be just comedy relief. But we didn't get that this time.
We
She's
did
just a
not.
person. And she's a very loving and caring person at that.
Yes. Excellent person. I mean, what a just a great aunt. And
A great
very
aunt.
briefly, for half a second, uncle.
A very
Just in that one moment where we're
she went
where
she
we're in
went
the
boy
zoo
mode.
stalking our
She,
niece.
she went boy mode to protect her niece. And you know what? I can appreciate
I
that,
respect
okay?
that.
I
Because look,
respect
here's
that.
the thing. I love the idea that it was we're going boy mode to tag to stalk our niece around the zoo to see what this kid's like. And I just choose to think it's because of like, okay, if something's gone down, now Chan's entire vibe was going to be I shall march over here as scary uncle and just
Hmm.
storm in on everything. And I love that. It was
Exactly.
excellent. It's great.
But having that protective instinct and everything too, when, because these are, because technically this isn't your daughter, it's your niece. But you're doing, it's that extra, like, while you're here though, I'm basically your mom. Like, it's my job to protect you, to keep you safe, and to make sure you were, like, fed, clothed, loved, and cared for in every way. And that was the thing that was just like, because, a lot of times in a character that will be like, oh, so and so main character is going to whoever's house for the summer, and they're just staying there with like their aunt or uncle or cousin
Yeah.
or grandparent or whatever. And that character, like, either shows up a couple times or is like mean or is like, there's a lot of tropes that get associated with that character position. But I think I preferred this character. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I agree. For sure. For sure. For sure.
And I
The whole
think
thing was just great though.
right. One of the moments, there were two moments where her being trans was like important, right? Where it kind of came up conversationally. There was the one where they were on the bus, right? And people started whispering because they heard her speak, and then they were like, "Oh, does she's a guy? I didn't. Are we short? Really? She's a guy? Her? She doesn't look like, but she, hmm." And Mitsumi was just as sweet as can be. Holds her hand and is just like, nah, no, 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 we're not listening to that. We're gonna have a conversation that is completely unrelated to that right now. And I love that. Doesn't ever
Mm.
treat her different. Doesn't ever treat her like, it's not made a big deal of. And it's like this. It's kind of a bonding moment between the two of them. Not that they're not already bonded, but it's just like a further cementing, like, familial love between them. And I thought it was incredibly sweet. I just really liked that moment. But then the other moment was for the sleepover, and she was like, "Don't forget to tell your friends that I'm biologically male."
Yeah.
And the friends come over and she brings in like the drinks and snacks and everything. And when she leaves, she's kind of still out in the hall and she just hears the friends talking and be like, "Oh, she's so fashionable and she smells so good."
I love that moment.
I loved it. It was just so sweet. Just so sweet. There's never a moment of like hate crimes or anything. It was just nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. It was very wholesome, which I expected no less from it because I mean the whole tone was set to be from the get go. But I do. It was just very wholesome how everybody was represented for sure. I love that. Have all the appreciation for it. So like, and that's how I felt. I think pretty much consistently the whole way that like it definitely wasn't for me, but sitting down and getting into it, it was great. Like I have no regrets about watching it. I would watch a second season, you know what I mean? Like I like the characters. I like so many things about it. So again, not at all that I don't like it, just it's that slice of life and that was just never for me. But all of the representation, all of the emotions, all of these things, I would love to see more of fleshed out. I live for any of these relationships and the communication and the honesty and all of the growth and development, those are absolutely things that I live for in a story, that just world building. And so I think this has definitely done something great. And so I'm sure the manga, since it's still ongoing, is probably amazing. I may have to check it out, but I definitely, I think it's worth a watch, guys. I think if you're on the fence about it, I think if you're not sure or whatever, I think go watch it. Give it a try. I think you will enjoy it.
Definitely, definitely. Especially if you want to see a queer person be happy in something for once. Go watch it. But yeah, that was it. That's Skip and Loafer. So thanks everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you subscribe. Hope you go watch Skip and Loafer or go read it.
Tell us how you feel. Yeah, if you've read the manga, tell us how you feel.
Definitely, definitely. No spoilers though. We don't do spoilers here.
Oh no, those are the worst people.
Oh, those are the worst people.
I just hate those spoilers.
Oh, but yes, we upload this podcast every Friday, Eastern Standard Time, whenever I feel like
Yes,
it. No
we
specific
do
time, just
at
that
some
day.
point.
At some point.
Yeah,
Usually that day. Um, but if you
keep you
don't
on
want to
your
wait for
toes.
the next, we try. We try.
Yeah.
But if you can't wait for the next podcast episode, we also stream on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're still playing a visual novel. If you've been over there, then you know we've been playing a nice visual novel, the dating sim, for a while. We're still on that.
A little
Come join
slice of
us.
life dating sim.
Exactly, exactly. Nice little slice of life dating sim. So if you'd like slice of life, come over there too. And follow us on our socials. Interpop Podcast. Where just type it in. Type it in wherever you feel like. Type it in MySpace. I don't know.
We'll show
It's
up.
somewhere.
And we
We'll
might
show
be
up.
there too. You never know. We'll be
I might
there
be there.
wherever you are. Open up your closet. We'll be there, ready to ask your opinion on the next show or movie.
Yep. Look out at the sun. We're right there.
Yep.
Don't
We're
stare too
there.
long though. We're too
Don't
bright.
stare too long. You
We'll
can
hurt
stare
your
at the
eyes.
moon. We're also there. Yeah, we
We're
hop
also
from one
there.
to the
Yeah.
next. What? We're everywhere. Close your eyes. We're behind the eyelids.
Don't look behind you. Bye.